Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the CURT Premium Hitch Mounted Bike Rack on our 2020 Buick Enclave. One of the big questions that we get asked all the time in regards to these hitch mounted bike racks is if you're still going to be able to have full access to the back of your SUV. And this one does fold down out of the way and allows us to do that. And the way that we're going to do it, we move down here, we're going to need to loosen up this T-handle. So you give that a few turns. Then we're going to have a pin and clip that we need to pull out. Then we just lift up on this T-handle. That'll allow the rack to swing down. And that'll give us more than enough space to open up our hatch and get whatever we might need in and out of the back of our Buick. So the rack that we have here today can hold up to a total of 4 bikes. But if you need to carry an extra one, there's a 5-bike version available as well. Now, with that being said, kind of my first impressions of the rack on the back of our Enclave is I think it's going to look pretty good, actually. It's going to be a great way to carry around a lot of bikes, and it's going to hold them up nice and high out of harm's way. Now, one of my favorite things about this setup here is that it's super easy to use and figure out. It's going to hold our bike down in 3 spots. So we're going to have 2 straps here along the top tube, and then down here we're going to have an anti-sway strap, and that's going to help prevent that side-to-side movement. That way our bikes aren't kind of banging into each other as they're going down the road. With all that being said though, let's go ahead and pull our bike off so we can have a better look at the rack itself. So the way this is going to work, you're just going to pull down on the straps and flip them up and over the frame. Same thing for these 2 over here. And we're able to grab our bike, pull it off, and go hit the trails. So it's pretty neat about these cradles here. This is where your bike's frame is going to sit. Is they're going to have 3 different sides. So you can rotate them, and that's going to help accommodate different types of frames that your bike might have. And it's also going to give us a lot of different spots to strap them down. So let's say, for example, if you use this side, you run your strap through here, it does a good job. Or if you put a different bike on there, you might be able to secure it better with a diagonal. So it really gives you a lot of different options. I am relatively impressed with the straps. They're pretty thick and feel pretty durable. So I see these lasting for quite some time. I do suggest, though, whenever you're not using the rack, just to go ahead and put them back in place. That way we don't have to worry about anything happening to them. This rack does kind of have a unique design. You don't really see it all that often on bike racks. And what I mean by that is it's nice and wide back here, and then it comes in and gets a little more narrow. And what that's designed for, that's going to help accommodate smaller frame bikes. So for example, let's say you want to take the kids out riding or take the grandkids with you. Those bikes are going to fit on here very nicely. With that being said though, you're not limited to smaller frame bikes back here. You can still use full-size bikes as well. So it really opens up your options on how you can actually use your rack. Now, something we do need to think about is the fact that the rack is going to extend the overall length of our Buick whenever we have it in this position here. And to find out exactly how much, if we measure from the hatch to the very edge of the rack, looks like it's going to be about 39 inches. So definitely something you want to keep in mind whenever you're pulling into a garage or maybe even a tight parking spot. But with that being said, the arms do fold down and make it much more compact. It's super easy to do. We're going to have a pin and clip here. You pull that out. Let those arms swing down, and you want to put that pin and clip back. That way everything's secure. And now it went from a relatively large rack to one that's really compact, actually. We'll take that same measurement. It looks like our furthest point will be all the way down here. So I'll just go from the bumper this time. And from there to the edge, looks like it's only going to add about 12 inches to the back of your Enclave. So in this position, really shouldn't give you any issues at all when you do go to pull into your garage or that tight spot. So moving down here, the rack is going to work with those 2-inch by 2-inch hitches like we have here today on our Enclave. And it's also going to come with a anti-rattle bolt. And what that's going to do is eliminate any slop or play here in the connection point. That way, whenever you're going down the road, the rack isn't going to be bouncing around in your trailer hitch, making a bunch of noise. So to kind of give you an example of that, let's say we're going down the road, hitting some bumps, you can see that the rack is going to move with our Enclave and not on its own. So at the end of the day, a very popular bike rack, and I can see why. These things are well built and a great compact way to carry around a lot of bikes. And not to mention, I think it looks pretty good on the back of the Enclave too. And if you're anything like me, you always would like to see the product actually working or in action. So let's go ahead, load this up with some bikes, take it out on the test course, and see how it performs. This is our test course. Let's start with the slalom. This shows side-to-side action, such as turning corners or evasive maneuvering. Then, onto our alternating speed bumps. This shows twisting action, such as hitting curbs, potholes, road debris, or even uneven pavement. Last of all, the solid speed bumps. This shows up and down action, such as driving through a parking lot or parking garage, or driving in and out of a driveway. And that'll finish up our look at of the CURT Premium Hitch Mounted Bike Rack on our 2020 Buick Enclave.